Oh, here you go. Okay. Welcome to Talks Today. Here's my second guest. She's a podcast host, small business owner. She's also a psychologist major like I am. Lynette A Shaw. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm very excited. Yes, I didn't know you were a psych major.
Yeah, I was a psych major. Still don't know what I want to do with it. Maybe get into marketing. But what do you want to do with your psych major?
I want to go into therapy, but I did think about marketing too because psych majors, would be really good in marketing. Because marketing is just built off of psychology, to be honest.
So tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Peoria, Illinois, which is 2.5 hours outside of Chicago. And there's corn there, there's a couple stores, and that's about it. that's it. Great place, but that's about it.
So I heard a lot of rumors about Chicago. Are they true?
What are they? What are they? Depends. Some of them might be.
So you're in Atlanta right now? Are you a student?
I am a student. I'm a student at Agnes Scott College. That's in Decatur. So,
How is Agnes Scott?
Agnes Scott is cool. It's a historically women's college. It's a liberal arts school. It's really small, very small school.
Isn't it at HBCU?
It is not an HBCU, but there are a lot of black students there. A lot of people think it's an HBCU because of how multicultural it is, but it is not. But a lot of people think it is.
Right. That's what I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I thought it was like another version of Spelman.
Yeah, some people get the two mixed up, but they're both Spelman and Agnes Scott are both part of the Seven Sisters of the South, different institutions. There's about 7 of them. They're called the Seven Sisters of the South.
Do you do anything on campus at Agnes Scott?
I do. I am involved. So it's kind of been a while since I haven't actually been on campus, but I'll try to remember the things that I was involved in and will continue to be involved in. I'm in Psych, which is the Psychology Honor Society, and I'm also in the NAACP. I'm the PR chair, the Public Relations chair for the NAACP on the executive board. I also helped co-found an organization at Agnes Scott. It's called Color and Film. And then I'm also a Be Well ambassador. So Be Well ambassadors, our primary job is to just kind of make sure that students have a safe transition back on campus with COVID and everything.
So how does COVID affect you now? Is it any strong effect it have in your life for education?
I would say it definitely threw a wrench in my college experience because I thought it was just going to be, 4 years of heaven. You're on campus, you're getting involved, you're making all these friends, doing all these things. But actually, when COVID hit, I went home back to Peoria, Illinois for 10 months. So it didn't necessarily look like how I thought it would. But one thing that COVID did give me was appreciation. And I will never take time with others for granted again. I will never take anything. Even just going outside, I'll never take it for granted. That's one thing that I did get out of COVID. Appreciation.
So because of COVID, a lot of people have been doing small hustles because their jobs again kind of working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Less pay, evictions. So I heard you started a small business. Is that one of the reasons why you started it?
I would say so, yeah, because I had a cute little summer job during COVID, but it was really stressing me out because at that point we didn't know a lot about COVID, and I was helping out at a summer camp where kids cannot keep on their masks, and I was convinced I was going to catch it. So I quit the job because it was stressing me out, but then I had no flow of income.
Mm-hmm.
So I was I'm going to start a small business. The business is called Mystic Inks, and Basically, it's a combination of like art, but I also do like different services. Like I can do chakra body scans and balancing, but I also paint things and make things. And so you should see some new content rolling out in September and October.
So you say you do art. Are you like an artist? And do you sell your art, or does it like you do art with people, like and help them through the situation they're going through?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say the first one. I'm not as fancy as the second option, but the first option, really art took me out of like kind of a depression in the pandemic, so I started painting. Um, my mom had like a huge acrylic paint set, and I would buy different sizes canvases, and so I started doing these really small intricate landscapes like on these 3 by 3 inch canvases, tiny canvases. And then I would work my way up to like 5 inches and stuff like that. And at first I just started doing like moonscapes, but I worked my way up, and then other people took interest in them, and they're like, I will buy that. So that's kind of how it started. It started with like, I was sad and I wanted to make money, and then it kind of like took on a hobby, kind of like that.
So do you think you what's that guy's name? The painting.
Oh, Bob Ross.
Bob, yeah. Are you like a Bob Ross level?
No, not even close. I think he would like some of my moonscapes. Not even gonna lie, but no, he's renowned. He's some of his like fall landscapes are just, you can't like even tell that that's not real. Like he's so good. So I'm not on a Bob Ross level, although I think he would like one of my moonscapes. I think he would think it was pretty cool, but still elementary level.
So I didn't know, you say you do chakras, right? Chakras readings.
Yes, yeah, like a lot of the time, if you don't already know, chakras are like energy points on your body. So there's 7 of them that are recognized, throughout the world. But I would say, this came out of like ancient India, by the way, for the most part. And so there's 7 energy points on your body. You got root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra. And when these are all, responsible for different emotions and things that we go about through life, and when they're out of balance, they need to get back in balance, or else, like, for example, if your solar plexus chakra is out of balance, your confidence is going to be low. So, and they're also associated with different colors, but that's a whole other. But when they're out of balance, things can go haywire. So I can balance that for people.
Not to sound ignorant, but to know about chakras and stuff, do you have to be a spiritual person?
That's actually a good question. That's not a dumb question. It's actually a very good one, because I think a lot of people know of them and kind of what they represent, but I think being spiritual could help. It helped me, because like reading the background, the history about it, then also like believing that I can control how I'm feeling and like my health, if I just put in the work, really, really help. Because obviously there's some things you can't control, but like your wellness, if you work towards that, then it can turn out for the greater good.
I think that's cute, honestly. But are you like a spiritual and a religious person? Because when people try to get to spirituality, they start losing interest in religion.
Ooh, that's actually a good question. I feel like that could be a misconception, only because when over the pandemic, I feel like I've always been a spiritual person, but since the pandemic took me away from a lot of things that I was comfortable with, I had to really get spiritual, because like when you're uncomfortable, the more spiritual you got to get, because I find comfort in spirituality. But then I came to this point where I was like, am I not religious anymore? Because like I used to be this person, I used to go to church, I used to do all these things. And what I came to terms with is like, there's still religions out there. There's one that I'm currently reading about, and it fits a lot of the things that I believe, but it's also spiritual. I've read a lot about like Buddhism and different things like that. And it fits a lot of the things that I've always believed. I just didn't know how to articulate it. So I don't think necessarily you have to move away from religion when you're moving towards spirituality. I would say think of it less as a spectrum and more of it as like maybe like a circle, like a blob of different things. And you can be anywhere, you can be a combination of things.
So it's like spectrum, like sexuality.
Oh, no. I was saying think of it less as a spectrum and more of it as like a blob, and you could be like anywhere.
Like a dot, like a little board, dot board.
Honestly, you could be anywhere, and you could float around. Like throughout your life, it's okay to float around, and like some things might fit you at different points of your life, and you might come to terms with,
So you grew up religiously, right?
I did.
So when did you start getting into like spirituality and stuff?
I would say after I got diagnosed with anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, I would have to find ways to believe that everything would be okay. And so a lot of that started with me reading about crystals and using them. And this was back before, I hate to sound like that person, but this was back before it was trendy. Mm-hmm. Like this was back before TikTok took like, this persona of like, spirituality, so like this was back in the day when I got diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I began to use crystals, carry them with me. Meditation was a big thing. Yoga as a kid was a big part of my life. Like my parents bought me this set of yoga cards when I was like not even like 9 or 10, and like I was so excited to come home and practice yoga and different things like that. I was like learning from a young age, like mind over matter. Like your mind is so powerful that you can control so many things within your body. So like that's another thing that I think kind of pushed me towards spirituality. Again, not like you have to move away from religion, but I think like that was what opened the door, because I was like, there's so many different ways to see life. So I think that's how it happened.
That's when you felt enlightened.
Yes, I did. And I had a second enlightenment, which, there's lots of enlightenments I feel like that happen throughout life. Cue the AP European history themes here. But yeah, my second enlightenment was in the pandemic. I felt like I had no control over my life, and I was like, I need order. And I feel like spirituality brings order to chaos. That's how I think of it.
So it's like a balance, right?
Yes,
like,
balance.
So it's like a yin and yang type thing?
Yes, balance. Like spirituality to me is like, okay, I accept that bad will happen, but it's what I do with the bad that, it's like what I do with those emotions, and like also not letting negative emotions control me, which I'm not perfect. I was in Target today. Man, I was stressed out. There were people everywhere. So I'm still learning. I'm still a student. You're a student for life.
So you're one of the people that wears a mask everywhere?
Yes, I am. Wear your mask.
I also want to bring up, because I know a little bit of crystals because I watch Steven Universe.
There you go.
And so do you collect crystals?
I do collect crystals.
So do you have like a ruby? That's kind of too expensive.
A ruby? What? If someone wants to buy me one, sure. Not those kinds of crystals, no.
Okay, what crystals do you have then, or do you collect?
So like I say, a lot of my spirituality is based in like chakra stuff. So I buy a lot of crystals based on like what I'm naturally drawn to, because the whole thing about crystals and why I think they're blowing up now is because people are realizing that crystals and rocks have vibrations, just like different people have vibrations. Rocks, crystals have geometric structures that radiate different kinds of energy. So whichever energy I'm attracted to, like when I'm in the crystal store, if I'm drawn to something, then I have to get it because I know that there's something that this crystal or material needs to bring to me. Or if I need to fulfill one of the chakras, then I get something for that. But do you want me to do like some go-to ones that people should have? Yeah. Everybody needs clear quartz. Get you some clear quartz. It's cheap. It's super cheap. Get it. Get some citrine. Citrine is like really happy sunshine energy. It's really pretty too. Like it almost looks like an orange geode. Well, that's what a lot of them look like. And I would say those are the ones I would say are go-to ones. Carnelian, it's good for relationships.
Are diamonds a crystal too?
I guess in a way, diamonds are super rare. So if you can get one, let me know. Hook me up.
Okay. So on Mystique Inks, what do you sell? Other than art.
Right now, I've been into I make kind of like jewelry stuff. So what's on there now are these jar necklaces. They're like necklaces that have tiny jars. You can put anything inside. Like I can write a custom message. You can put a custom message in there and then also make matching bracelets. Or there's ones where for the different chakras. So I have a little gold chakra charm on it. And then inside the little cork bottle is whatever crystal that I picked out for that chakra. So there's a root chakra one, which is associated with red. So it's got a little root chakra charm, and it's got some garnet inside of the bottle. So that's what I've got going on now. I hope to add some stuff. I want to kind of do more decor stuff for people's rooms. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Maybe I'll paint some more stuff.
So you do live video sessions, right? Like yoga and stuff?
Oh yeah, I do. I'm trying to pick that back up. I do, every once in a while, I'll do live meditation sessions for the different chakras, or I'll just do anxiety relief. Look out for those. If you follow my Instagram account, pretty sure it's just at Mystic Inks. There might be an underscore between the two, but yeah.
All right. So you also are a podcast host, right?
I am a podcast host. Yes.
So what's it called?
It's called Your Pending Psychologist, because I'm not a psychologist yet, but it's pending. So it's called Your Pending Psychologist.
So what's your theme? What's your aesthetic?
My theme is mental health. And so I will have people come on, or sometimes it might be a show by myself, but I'm going to try to I have one episode out, but I'm going to try to have more people come on and we talk about different mental health topics. I have anonymous listener submissions, so people will send me a situation and I respond to it with my advice. Yeah. Go check it out.
Is there any questions that already been asked you want to talk about?
Yes. Someone asked me how to deal with feeling uncomfortable with returning to campus in COVID and how they should react if their friends want them to attend a party and they're not comfortable doing that. And I told them that if they're really your friends, then they won't, make you do anything you're uncomfortable with. So learn to say no to your friends. Your friends should understand, if you're not uncomfortable with doing something, then they should feel okay. Okay, we need to respect their wishes.
So can I ask you a question? And they talk to me like it's like a podcast?
Sure.
So let's say, that's on the spot, wow. Let's say, damn, that's a good question for you. Damn, that's what I was on next. Let's say you're in a new relationship.
Okay.
And it's not as love honeymoon-ish.
Okay.
Like it wasn't.
So it's lost its spark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what should someone do?
So what should someone do to rekindle that spark?
Okay. I would say if you're in a relationship and it's not where it used to be at the beginning, you need to figure out what first drew you to that person. What was the first thing that actually attracted you to that person? And is it substantial enough to like carry on that relationship? Because if it's fading, then that is okay. Like sometimes you're not gonna be with people forever and that might not be your person. So that's what I would say. I would say try to look at what drew you to that person in the first place and if that's still there or was it just infatuation. But if you're really invested in this, is it out of being desperate to have a successful relationship or is it you're actually in love with that person? That's the question I would ask.
Okay. Oh, so let's ask like a mental health question.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's say you're depressed,
Okay.
and let's say your friend's depressed. Is there any signs you see if your friends are depressed, even though they won't tell you?
Yes, I would say signs for depression in friends. Like lack of interest in what they're usually interested in. Like most people have hobbies that they're really interested in. If you see your friend has like lost interest in that, that's kind of a red flag. That means that something might have happened. They might have had a traumatic experience. I had a friend who played tennis and suddenly she was not interested in tennis anymore. And it was because her coach was giving her anxiety and it kind of put her in a depression, you know? So that was kind of a red flag. I'd say lack of interest in what their hobbies are and negative thinking, kind of like spiraling, low confidence, not being hygienic, like not showering, not coming out of the house. Yeah.
So how do you help somebody with depression as a friend?
I would say be careful about the way that you try to help someone because you don't want to do it in like a derogatory way. Like you don't want to make someone feel worse than they already are. So first of all, see how willing they are to accept help and ask about like, you know, kind of gauge like what they're comfortable with doing. Like you can ask them like, hey, do you want to go hang out? Or like, is it okay if I bring you food? Is it okay if I come over? And you can see if you can get them to open up about what may be depressing them, but you also don't want to, you know, press them for information. But definitely see if they'll open up about what's bothering them because you might be able to help them. And try to like cheer them up. That's what I would say. Don't try to take on the role of like a therapist because your role is to be their friend and they don't need like a professional. They might need a professional opinion, but not from you. So just try to be their friend, you know.
So you're on your way to be a psychiatrist.
Yes,
Are you excited for it?
I'm very excited.
So what got you into psychology?
I blame my mom for watching so much Frasier. No. I've always cared about mental health, especially black mental health, because in this country, black mental health is neglected. It's kind of swept under the rug. Sometimes it can be taboo. Like, there's so many disturbing statistics about it. But I've always felt passionate about black mental health. And I feel like black therapists in particular, black counselors are needed. And it's great for a black person to have a black counselor because there's just some things that you don't have to explain. You know, there's some things that is just like a shared understanding of like oppression and things, and I want to be that person that can like share the understanding.
Do you believe this stereotype that black people don't go to therapy is true?
I would say.
Oh, people of color.
Oh, people of color. Well, in the black community and also in the POC community, there is kind of like a stigma around mental illness. And I think sometimes people believe that going to a counselor makes them weak or makes it seem like there's something wrong with them. When in reality, we should all have a therapist because going to therapy is more of a preventative measure. It should be a preventative measure. It's more like a check-in. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis, but I think people go in with the assumption it's a diagnosis, which, by the way, we need to strip the stigma from diagnosis because those are a good thing. Then you can figure out what's going on with you. Like, when I got diagnosed with anxiety disorder, I felt relieved. I was like, oh, that's what's going on? So you mean 50% of the US also shares this disorder and there's nothing wrong with me? Like, 50% of Americans are going to experience anxiety and depression at one point in their lifetime. So, yes, I do believe that there is a stigma around it, and I think that's where the stereotype originated from. Hopefully we can get rid of that.
So, I'm not from Agnes Scott, but I am from the AUC, I'm a Morehouse student, and I'm also a psychology major, so I'm in a counseling group called CHILL. Counseling Humans and Life Lessons. So some students are trained to talk to people about depression, anxiety, and comfort them, trying to get them to talk more. Then if it's too serious, you talk to them, you go see a counselor, you go see a therapist. Is there something like that on Agnes Scott?
Yes, there's something similar, I think, at our school. It's more of kind of like I would say this group makes sure that students are seen in terms of mental health. So they, like, for different holidays like Valentine's Day, they try to make sure like everyone feels included and that no one feels lonely, because loneliness is a big part of college, and I think that it's where a lot of mental illnesses can be triggered, because loneliness, I know for me that can trigger my anxiety because I feel like I'm alone in my feelings. So they're a really cool organization, and yeah, they bring awareness to mental health too, which I really appreciate. I follow them on Instagram during the pandemic, and they would share a lot of stats, and it really helps. Like, I think they're really cool. But yeah, they do similar things. I don't think they counsel or interact directly with people in that way, but they do make an impact on our campus for sure.
Yeah, because CHILL, we do interact with people, but we're not allowed to give them advice because that can do, like, if you give the bad advice,
Right.
that we're not trained professionals.
Right.
That could be dangerous.
Sure.
But we do events that we let people come down. They go to events, go to tables, learn about something more like depression, take an anxiety test, depression test. Then, kind of comfort them, or like a fundraiser for the clubs or fundraisers for anything. And so that's how we bring awareness to campus, and not just at Morehouse, it's also for Spelman and Clark.
I think that's really cool. Zubin told me about that because I think he's in it too. And
Zubin's my roommate, if you don't know.
Yes. I was like, that's such a good idea. And I was like, oh, can we do that at our school? Because I think, like, when you have that, like, you have like a network of people like looking out for each other. And I was like, that's a good idea. Yeah, that sounds like a fun club. If I was in the AUC, I would join that.
Right. So let's say someone wants to be where you're at right now. What advice would you give them?
Ooh, I don't really know where I'm at right now. I'm a college student. I am graduating a year early. I actually came in with the class of 2023, but I'm going to graduate with the class of 2022. So if you want to get there, take some dual credit in high school, you could graduate a year early.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that sometimes to be where you're at, you just have to start. So it's when did you start your podcast?
Oh my goodness, like, it was the easiest thing ever. I downloaded this app, Anchor. This is not an ad, I swear. But I downloaded an app called Anchor, and literally, all you do is record. You can edit very easily. This is very user friendly because I don't know how to edit anything. It's very user friendly, and then when you're done, it distributes it to different platforms. So I'm on Spotify right now. I'm on all the podcast platforms. So yeah, it's just the motivation though. Like you just have to like sit down and be like, I'm doing this today. Like I'm gonna shoot an episode later tonight.
So just if you want to start a business or start a club, just start. That's how everything starts.
Yeah.
On a whim.
With the idea
Mm-hmm.
and the drive. That's it. That's
Right.
what I mean.
So how can people find you? How can people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is at hippiecat, but it's spelled at HYPPIKAT. And then you can find my Instagram podcast at Your Pending Psychologist.
Like I said, it's also on Spotify, also on other platforms.
I'm also a poet. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're doing your poetry in your podcast too?
No, I don't do poetry in the podcast. Okay. But if you want to find my poetry, that's at Ashanti Poetry. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for being here. It's nice to have you here.
It was very fun. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Peace out. A good 30 minutes.
That was cool.
Oops.